What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 116 of the Access to Combat podcast. I'm one half of your host, Hugo the Boss. Hugo got next. Jump on my co-host.
It's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down two cards with two main events that are both rematches. One being Ankalaev Poatan, the other being Usman Nurmagomedov running it back with Paul Hughes. But before we get into any of that, my brother, please tell them what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know.
First fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have Punahele Soriano going one-on-one with Nikolay Veretennikov. Soriano is 11-4 overall. Fighting out of Oahu, Hawaii, 32 years old. Veretennikov is 13-6 overall. Fighting out of Orange County, California, but repping Kazakhstan, 35 years old. I'll cut straight to the chase on this one. Give me the Hawaiian. Give me Big Puna. Soriano for the win here. The non-technical breakdown on my behalf here is going to be Nikolay ain't really that good. He don't pass the eye test for me. He's 1-2 in the UFC. He's just a big Kazakhstani striker who goes burr. That's all, right? Was able to show some wrestling in his last outing against Prado, but I mean, Prado is fighting in the division I don't think he belongs in. I think he should be fighting at 155. Got drowned by Vanderford on short notice. Went to split decision with Barlow. He should be 0-3 if you're asking me. Punahele, ever since he's moved down to 170, he's found some new life. Looks good in the division. I think Soriano gets this one done. I say probably by decision, but I wouldn't rule out like a third round stoppage. Probably KO. That's all I got for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it nice and simple as well. It's the same thing my brother said. I think Nikolay is a little bit of a limited fighter. Soriano has been a force of such in this new weight class. Starts Euros Medic, which is very impressive. And on the feet, it wasn't like he used his wrestling to get there. It was for like the first couple of seconds of the fight. Yeah, he got memed, sure, but to connect on Euros Medic is not the easiest task to do without walking into some fucking danger. So for me, this is Soriano's fight to lose. I expect him to be the better wrestler here. I expect him to push a better pace. Vanderford was able to expose this guy. Punahele is not the wrestler that Vanderford is, but I do trust his UFC experience a little more in this contest, considering that Nikolay hasn't shown me anything to be impressed with. Give me Punahele Soriano by decision here.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have Daniel Santos, aka Willie Cat, going one-on-one with Zombie Jr. Ju Sang Yu. Santos is 12-2 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 30 years old. Yu is perfect, 9-0. Fighting out of South Korea, repping South Korea, 31 years old. So this fight's going to be a banger of a fight. I just realized that it does say this fight is taking place at featherweight, so I guess Daniel Santos is going to stay up in this weight class. Santos' last fight was a banger. He moved up short notice against, what's his name? I can't remember.
His name is Lee, goddammit.
Oh, that's right, Lee. That fight ended up going split decision, but I mean, I thought the rightful guy won in Santos. He looked really good in there. Guy's just a fucking dog. Willie Cat, he should be changed his name to Willie Cat to Junkyard Dog. We got you on the other side though. Guy's got the death touch. They call him Zombie Jr. He ended up getting signed off of Dana White's looking for a fight thing. I think you should win this. I think he's the better striker. I think he's got the power. I think he's got the death touch. That being said, what does scare me is that I think you can be taken down here. Santos does have good grappling, does have good jiu-jitsu. Probably dog or pass from a betting perspective, but I'm going to be picking you here for the win. Probably via KO. Won't hate the Santos side from a betting perspective.
Yeah, I'm with you here. There is a path for Santos to the grappling. This fight's a pick'em, I think rightfully so. I don't know how this fight's going to look. I think it's super high variance. There's a lot of ways this fight could look. I'm going to lean you for the podcast sake just because I think he can land and starch him, especially the way he impressed in his first fight where he kind of angled out and caught, what's this guy's name?
Oh, Janka, I think his first name is, hold on.
Sergey,
yeah.
Sergey, the way he caught him and just put him on his face, which is bad. Knockout of the year contender, by the way. So I trust Santos. I just don't trust him too much at this weight class. And that's why I think I'm going to lean more you as well. I think the size is going to give him a little bit of issues. He does have a good get-up game in you, and he is the superior striker. If this fight was at 35, I'd have a little more faith in Willie Cat, even though he did do his thing the last time he was up in this weight class in his last contest. But I think they're trying to really push this guy, to be frank. That knockout is something to, like, star build, to be frank.
Especially since doing it on his back foot. I mean, that was very impressive.
Yeah, and legit power. Yeah. So for me, I'm going to lean you. I think Willie Cat will walk into a shot here, or a couple of shots before he gets put down. Doesn't have the best striking defense. Use the lean for the podcast. I'm going to say by knockout decision here.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have no love. Patchy Mix going one-on-one with Jakub Wikłacz. Patchy is 20-2 overall, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 32 years old. The debuting Wikłacz is 16-3-2 overall, fighting out of Poland, repping Poland, 29 years old. Man, how disappointing was Patchy in his last fight?
Well, he wasn't disappointing. We kind of called it on this podcast, and you guys can circle back. We told you guys Batista was a tough stylistic opponent for him, and that turned out to be true. So, just want to throw that out there.
Now, I do think this is a more favorable matchup here for Patchy. Wikłacz, decent grappler. I think he's going to push the grappling. I think that's what Mix was kind of hoping for in his last fight against Batista. Batista, a bit of a higher IQ fighter, was able to, keep it standing, force Patchy to just basically strike with him for the whole 15 minutes and ruin the debut of Patchy Mix. I'll be taking Mix here for the win. I think he's going to get this one done. The things I like about Jakub is that he will push the pace. He will go for the grappling. I think his grappling is, kind of slick, but not really as extensive as Patchy's. This guy, going down his record, fought the same guy about 5 different times. Shows you how deep the division was back in his part of the world. I think it was KSW is where he was fighting.
KSW, yeah.
Mix should get this one done. If Mix doesn't get this one done, Patchy might be out the mix, if you know what I'm saying.
I might have to start having a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
You might have to, but give me Patchy Mix here for the win. I say by submission, but wouldn't be surprised if this win all 15 as well.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think Jakub's going to give him the fight that he wants. This is a guy who is not as light-footed as Batista. There's a guy who throws a lot of kicks, a.k.a. Patchy's going to have a lot of entries to take him down and put him on his back. Wikłacz, he does throw decent kicks. They're not the best kicks, but what his bread and butter is getting this to the floor. And if you know anything about Patchy Mix, world-class jiu-jitsu, and from an MMA standpoint, very good, very creative off his back, very good when he gets top position, very good at reversing, very good at getting back up to his feet. And the thing is that since he's a more flat-footed fighter that doesn't properly exit a lot of times when he's throwing strikes, this is going to be a more stationary target for Patchy to land his damage on. I think this is a much more favorable matchup for Patchy. Unlike the Patricio fight against Dan Ige, where we told you guys that Patricio was completely at a style disadvantage to Yair, and then he was a plus 200 to Dan Ige. Patchy is sitting at a minus 245 after the Batista fight, so Vegas seems to have his back on this as well. Gonna be an interesting fight to bet. I will say by sub or decision. That's where I'm leaning. We'll see how we play it close to the fight time and see how the lines shake out. But Patchy is definitely leading this fight. He's world class. This guy is not. You will see it in this contest. Give me Patchy Mix by submission or decision for this fight.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have Ramiz Brahimaj going one-on-one with Austin Vanderford. Brahimaj is 12-5 overall, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, 32 years old. Vanderford is 13-2 overall, fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, 35 years old. This fight is also going to be a low-key banger, in my opinion. I, by default, am going to be picking Vanderford. I think he's got more pedigree. He's lost to better guys than Brahimaj, in my opinion. And I think once he gets his grappling going, that's going to be the way he's going to want to attack this one. I think Brahimaj is going to give him some resistance. Brahimaj is a fucking dog, riding a 2-fight winning streak of his own, back-to-back first-round finishes. I wouldn't count Brahimaj out of this fight. This fight kind of gives me closer than you think vibes. You know what I'm saying? So I am going to be picking Vanderford for the win. In terms of a betting perspective, though, I will be looking at some Ramiz props because I do think he has the finishing equity. I think he has the finishing upside on his side. I do trust him to get the finish. So Vanderford's going to be the pick, but in a fight that I think is going to be closer than most people think, Brahimaj is from the Bronx. A man's a dog. Never rule the dog out. I will be looking to probably look for some decent prop bets on that guy's side.
Yeah, we can't count these Bronx boys out. You know, we got to hold it down. But I think this is a bad stylistic matchup for him. There's a guy who got beat up by Gorindo, and we're not very high on Gorindo on this podcast. I made a lot of money on the last fight that we faded him. I do believe that this is a very tough fight for Ramiz. I think Vanderford is a stud wrestler. I think he's the best wrestler that Ramiz has fought. I think there's a guy who knows how to get the outside single, knows how to work the double leg, strong as a gorilla, knows how to get to his spots, always in condition, always in shape. I think this is Vanderford's fight to lose. I don't agree with the odds too much. I agree with my brother. He's sitting at a plus 225 on some books, Ramiz.
Yeah, his wrestling is better than I think advertised for sure. And to be honest, I can see him knocking Vanderford out early.
Correct, because Vanderford's striking is not brilliant either. It's not like something that I'm going to behold. He doesn't make the best decisions. And you kind of seen on the Gegard fight. If this guy cannot get the fight to the floor, man, he fucking panics a little bit. So and not to say anything about Gegard. Gegard is a legend. Like, I've been super high on Gegard Mousasi and his skills for years. I think there's no shame in losing to that guy, but sometimes you gotta look at a man's heart, a man's heart, a man's character.
The soil of a man's heart is stone. Don't know how that applies here, but I just wanted to say that line.
You attack the heart, you know what I'm saying?
You attack the heart.
So I just think that that Vanderford, like, if he can't get the wrestling going, this could go really sideways, but I'm gonna bank that he is. I think he's gonna be able to get this fight to the floor. For all 3 rounds, that's the question. I think plus 200, plus 225 is a little crazy. A little. Smells like a possible dog play. But we'll see how we play it closer to fight time. Give me Vanderford by decision here, but with a bit of skepticism.
Next fight on the card at women's flyweight, we have Veronica Hardy going one-on-one with Brogan Walker. Hardy, 9-5-1 overall. Fighting out of England, but repping Venezuela, 29 years old. Walker, 7-4 overall. Fighting out of Guam, 36 years old. This is Veronica Hardy. All day, every day, twice on Sunday. She would really have to royally fuck up. Maybe have some kind of mental lapse. Maybe overestimate Brogan here. Brogan hasn't fought in 2 years. She's a bit washed. Really hasn't shown it at the UFC level that she can do it. Veronica Hardy, still young. The better striker. The better grappler. Again, Hardy's fight to lose. She should get a finish.
She should definitely get a stoppage.
She should get a finish in this fight. So I will be picking Hardy by finish. Probably by submission, but I won't rule a ground and pound finish out either. But that's what I got for this one. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, I'm with you here entirely. And she's sitting at a minus 620. So Vegas is behind us on this as well. She's going to be younger. She's going to be quicker. She's going to be more technical. She has a more active guard. She's the far better striker. She should be able to get Brogan out of there. Brogan is a tough girl, which gives me some, susceptibility. But I think second, third round, Veronica Hardy are very interesting looks in this fight. I could see her catching her with a kick. I could see her getting her back and subbing her. Even if Brogan gets her down, she probably get an armbar on her, to be frank with you. There's a girl who lost to Juliana Miller to get into the UFC, and that loss has not aged well. And Juliana, I don't even think is more technical than Brogan. I just think she outdogged her. And when you have a girl in there, or even a man, that you can tell that they're going to look for the door when shit's not going their way, or they're just going to be in survival mode, it's very hard to get behind them. And I think Veronica is going to put her into those situations because Veronica is a fucking dog. So give me Veronica Hardy here by, I'll say, inside the distance. We'll see what the line shake out to close to the fight time, but probably going to be sub, in my opinion, too. I think that's a decent look because I think it's going to be a big number for some reason.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have Farid Basharat going one-on-one with Chris Gutierrez. Basharat is perfect, 13-0. Fighting out of Vegas, but repping Afghanistan, 28 years old. Gutierrez is 22-5-2 overall. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, 34 years old. This is a fight where I think 95% of it's going to be taking place on the feet. Basharat's going to be the side here for me. I just think he's the more complete overall MMA fighter. He's got more tools. I think he's more dynamic with his striking, solid IQ. Not that Gutierrez is dumb on the other side, but, Gutierrez doesn't really push any grappling. Gutierrez got very good leg kicks, does know how to fight safe. I think Basharat is going to be able to, show him that there's levels, style him a little bit, maybe even take him down. Gutierrez has got solid takedown defense, but Basharat is probably the best wrestler he's fought in this division so far.
Outside of maybe Yadong.
Yes, outside of Yadong for sure. But
That's it, yeah.
I think this is Basharat's fight to lose. As long as he doesn't get his legs chopped down, I think it's going to be, a long night for El Guapo. Give me the Ferocious for the win.
Yeah, I think the Ferocious one's going to have his way in this fight.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why. Gutierrez, if he cannot get the leg kicks going, he's going to have a hard time establishing any other offense. This is 101 with him. Like, it's rudimentary at this point. And you've seen it. When Pedro Muniz kind of blocked up his space, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to attack. He didn't know how to start. I have a feeling Basharat's going to do the same thing. Both the Basharat brothers, I know the other one got starched by Ricky Simone the other day. It happens. Ricky's a beast, bro. Like, I've been high on Ricky Simone on this podcast. But
Ricky Simone's back, by the way. Just saying. Simone.
These guys know what they're doing. They're high fight IQ fighters. They have good inside trips. They're not like dynamic freestyle wrestlers like Yadong or athletes at that level, but they're athletic enough and they have good ways to get to your back against the cage as well as good inside trips to get you to the floor. And I don't think the striking is going to be far off here either. I think Basharat has the better boxing.
Yeah.
Like, for me, Chris has the better leg kicks. Like a pretty good jab, I'll give him that, but you tell him he's going to out-jab Basharat for 3 rounds without getting put against the cage and then getting taken down. I think Basharat by sub or decision is interesting here. Sub preferably because he's not a big finisher, but sub is probably going to be a huge number, and I think it's right there for the picking against Gutierrez. He's been only stopped once via sub, but I don't care. I don't think Gutierrez has fought anyone this good on the floor outside of Pedro Muniz, but Pedro Muniz didn't have the wrestling acumen to get him there. This guy does, and he can grapple his ass up. So give me Basharat by decision or sub. Sub is a number I'm going to be looking at closer to fight time. Follow us on all social media platforms as usual.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have the silent assassin Ateba Gautier going one-on-one with Ozzy Diaz. Ateba is 8-1 overall, fighting out of Cameroon, repping Cameroon, 23 years old. Diaz is 10-3 overall, fighting out of Los Angeles, California, 34 years old.
Ozzy.
Oi, oi, oi. But listen, the UFC knows what they're doing with this one.
Yeah.
This is going to be Ateba via KO, probably first or second round. If it goes past the second round, something fucked up. Ateba came in with a cold or an injury, maybe missing a leg. He should be able to body Ozzy, unfortunately. Let's just keep it a buck. Unless Ozzy, puts on the singlet, goes all D1, because I think that's the way to beat Ateba.
Which none of the previous opponents, even though they were capable in between Medina and Valentin, decided to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Oh, my goodness.
You want to negate this guy's best weapons, and his weapons are his left and his right.
Yeah, and the dude cannot wrestle for shit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
He's got to get up jitsu, though.
Yeah, he's strong as shit, but he can't wrestle for shit. Ladies and gentlemen, just to add on to this, and I said, sorry for calling you.
No, go for it, man.
He can't, once he's on his back, he doesn't know what to do. I'm just going to put that out there. He is a fade that is coming soon. All the talent in the world, I hope he does get better. I hope I am wrong about him.
I mean, he's young, 23.
And his background's insane. So, I want to give him, some love. I don't want to shout him out, but dude, he cannot wrestle. He can't wrestle or grapple for shit. If you're going to stand up with this guy, good luck. Ozzy, I think, is going to play that game, and I think he gets knocked the fuck out in this fight.
I agree. And I'm going to be picking Ateba via KO. I'd say first round. Fuck it. I put the nuts on the table. It's not the most hottest take, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's one that hits. So give me Ateba for the win here. I'm sure you feel the same exact way, my brother.
Yeah, I'm there too. We can move on from this fight. Ateba by knockout round 1. That's how it goes. Round 2, if Ozzy is lucky.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have the golden boy, Edmen Shahbazyan, going one-on-one with André Muniz. Shahbazyan is 15-5 overall, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 27 years old. Muniz is 24-7 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 35 years old. This is a fight that's kind of funny. I think it doesn't go either way. At least I would think, right? I mean, that's what a lot of Shahbazyan's fights kind of end up. He's a kill-or-be-killed fighter. He is on a 2-fight winning streak. I am going to be picking him to win here. I think he gets it done early. Muniz, not the greatest chin, but if for some reason he's able to survive the onslaught of Edmen, I do like Muniz late. I do like Muniz probably via sub. I think it's going to be Shahbazyan. Shahbazyan should be able to get this one done. He's the better striker. He's on a streak. Muniz is old. I'm fading the old Brazilian. Shahbazyan for the win.
Yeah, I'm on Shahbazyan as well, but man, not with a high degree of confidence. I feel like this is a guy who just got subbed out like 3 weeks ago to old ass GM3, and GM3 shot.
Took him to the third round though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if Muniz can stretch it there, I have some faith. But the problem is, and this is why I'm on the Shahbazyan side, Muniz don't have the best fucking gas tank either. Like, he kind of folds in fights when things are not going his way, and then he's gassing and sucking wind too. So, you know, there's a guy. This is Paul Craig's last good win. You know. And we picked Paul Craig in that fight because I think it was like some absurd number for like the knockout, and he smashed his shit, which we knew was
going to be a KO, which is hilarious.
Yeah, we picked that shit. We said, yo, Craig. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But this is a bad matchup for Muniz, in my opinion. I think Edmen has shored up his takedown defense. You've seen it in the Anthony Hernandez fight, which is impressive. He did go about a round and a half with Fluffy before he got completely buried with the wrestling. I expect him to mind his P's and Q's, not get caught up like he did with GM3. Get this done within the first 2 rounds. Give me Edmen Shahbazyan by knockout rounds 1 and 2.
Next fight at women's bantamweight, we have Macy Chiasson going one-on-one with Yana Santos. Macy is 10-4 overall, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, 34 years old. Yana Santos is 16-8 overall, fighting out of St. Petersburg, Russia, 35 years old. An interesting fight, a fight that I think Macy should win. She should win handily. If Macy loses this fight, it's completely on her. She definitely turned her brain off or just got caught up thinking she can do something that she couldn't. She's just got to stick to a game plan here. She's bigger. She's faster. Santos is going to play into what she wants to do is, you know, just get into the clinch. Santos is going to push her against the cage. Chiasson should welcome it. Beat her up on the inside. I can see a Chiasson via sub. She should finish Santos here. For some reason, this fight kind of feels weird because it feels like a fight that Macy will let us down. For some reason, Santos is a dog, but this is Chiasson's fight to lose, so I'm going to be picking Macy. I say late round finish. That's all I got for this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think she's better in the clinch. She's going to be the bigger girl in general. She's younger. I think she does better body work. I think she does better body work with the kicks. She has vicious ground and pound when she wants to have it, especially when her opponent is kind of worn out a bit. I just can't get behind this number at minus 250, man. I can't. It's women's MMA. You know, not to sound crazy like that, but it's true. It's just such a high variance with women because like the skill differential is not vast between like, you know, subpar level, mid-level fighters in the division. The champion to everyone else, sure. Like the top contenders to everyone else, sure. But like the middle contenders that are kind of older and aging, not vastly different. So for me, I think this is a dog or pass. I think it's Yana Santos at plus 190 or just move on. And I think I'm not there yet to play her, to be honest. It's a fight I'm probably going to pass on more times than not. But don't be surprised if I get there. Come close to the fight time. Follow us on all social media platforms as usual. But give me Macy Chiasson for the lead and give me Yana Santos as a possible dog play.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have Josh Emmett going one-on-one with the Moroccan devil, Youssef Zalal. Emmett, 19-5 overall, fighting out of Sacramento, California, 40 years old. Zalal is 17-5-1 overall, fighting out of Denver, Colorado, but repping Morocco, 29 years old. This is the appropriate step up, I think, for Youssef. Youssef, you know, ever since I think going to a draw and getting cut in the UFC, has been on a roll, back in the UFC, doing his thing, getting actual finishes. He's going to be the faster fighter here, in my opinion. He's the safer fighter, in my opinion. Zalal is not afraid to make a fight boring, extend it, you know, stay on the outside, pick his shots. Emmett's all he got is, you know, these 2 hands.
Them dogs.
He's got them dogs. And unless he clips Zalal, which I'm never going to rule out, this is Zalal's fight to lose. Give me Zalal probably by decision. Emmett is a tough son of a bitch, but yeah, I like Zalal by decision. That's kind of where I'm going to be, you know, laying my hat. Unless some props kind of stick out insane on the Zalal side for a finish. Because, again, Zalal's the younger guy. He should be able to get it done, but...
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think there's an easy Zalal by decision. I think Josh Emmett is durable. I don't think Zalal has the biggest punching power. I don't think he's going to be able to out-grapple Emmett to a certain degree. Out-grapple was one thing, but out-wrestle Emmett. No one really out-wrestles Emmett, right? You try to stay away from his right hand and circle, pick your shots. There's a guy in Zalal who did not finish Calvin Kattar his last fight, and we know what Calvin Kattar is at this point, unfortunately. One of my favorite fighters, to be frank, personally. And it's just hard to watch him as a shell of himself at this point. Zalal could not get that guy out of here. So Kattar, a lot less durable in my opinion than Emmett. Went to decision with Kattar. Zalal, kind of a point fighter, knows how to use his feet. Very technical. Give me Zalal here by decision. But like my brother said, if any of the props stick out, like for knockout, because anything can happen when you're walking into a punch, your eye can get swelled up and then they'll have to stop the fight just because of swelling. If it's like a +500, 600 number, why not sprinkle on it a little bit? Because I think Zalal's going to be able to have his way with the striking wherever this fight goes. All Josh Emmett's going to do is walk him down, just try to throw a big shot and try to land a big haymaker. A haymaker that he's going to be hitting a lot of wind with, unfortunately. So sorry to Josh Emmett here. I think time is over. I think Yusuf Zalal is doing his best John Cena impersonation because his time is now. Give me Yusuf Zalal by decision here.
Next fight on the card, at men's light heavyweight, we have Jiří Procházka going one-on-one with Khalil Rountree Jr. Procházka, 31-5-1 overall. Fighting out of the Czech Republic, repping the Czech Republic, 32 years old. Rountree, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 14-6 overall, 35 years old.
Great fight.
Banger of a fight. It's going to be a 99% a stand-up affair. Khalil Rountree will not shoot.
I respect him, man.
He does not believe in the Second Amendment. He owns no guns. He will not shoot. Procházka is definitely a guy who's more, if I had to bet, will be the guy more prone to shoot in this matchup. But it's going to be a stand-up affair. Two guys are going to be striking, swanging, banging, big meaty men bumping meat. The classic. The special.
That's crazy.
But I think this is Jiří. This is going to be Jiří all day because, Jiří's just a humongous man. He's got, more tools. He's just got the thing. I don't know what to call it, but he's just got it. Not to rule out Rountree. If you like the Rountree side, it's probably via KO. I don't think he wins a decision against Jiří. Rountree, again, gave Poatan his best fight to date. One of my favorite fights to watch. He's a fucking dog. So Jiří, I'd say by KO. If the decision prop looks pretty fat, might sprinkle on that because, again, Rountree is only a 3-round fight, and Rountree, I think, can last 3 rounds. But it's Procházka for me.
What Jiří's slowly doing is showing that his resume is undisputed in this weight class. And he's beaten everyone except Poatan. And if you guys ask me if he fought Ankalaev, I'd probably pick Ankalaev, but I would not rule Jiří out of that fight. I'll be honest with you. And the reason I say that is because styles make matchups. People are going to look at me crazy when I say this because I was one of the few people that faded Jamal Hill his last fight against Khalil. And I said the speed was going to be a big problem. Khalil Rountree has made a living out of beating up on flat-footed fighters. Jiří is not flat-footed. Jiří is light on his feet. Jiří's going to pressure him. Jiří will eat 2 to give 1. Jiří has worked on his defensive boxing, and you saw it in the Jamal Hill fight. He looked like he was on fast forward next to him. These two are going to be on a little bit more of each other's speed. Now, why I'm leaning Jiří, I trust his durability better. He's going to be the bigger man. He's going to throw more volume. He's going to put pressure. He's going to have the wrestling upside. I also think he has more championship experience. I do. I just think he's been a champion in Ryzen. He was a champion in the UFC. He's had 2 fights against Poatan. And he's a guy that I would pick against Ankalaev. I would not pick Khalil Rountree against Ankalaev. And I know you shouldn't be doing MMA math, but based on everything else I said with the footwork and the speed as well as the lightness on the feet, I think Khalil's going to have a hard time lining this guy up the way he wants to. And even if he does, this guy's a fucking zombie, man. I mean, he eats damage like no other person I've ever seen in this weight class, at least at this size. And he is uber athletic. So for me, this is a guy in Jiří who's going to be a bigger, more athletic freak next to Khalil, who is a big athletic freak, just going to be the smaller one in this contest. Give me Jiří Procházka to finish this fight. within the distance. But if it goes to decision, like my brother said, it's a fat number, I do not mind sprinkling a little bit on that just because of Khalil's recent resurgence in terms of fight IQ and not quitting on himself midway into a fight. So give me Jiri by knockout, I'll say. But if it goes to decision, don't be surprised if I sprinkle on that if the number's nice.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have body bags. Joe Pyfer going one-on-one with Usman Nurmagomedov. Pyfer, 14-3 overall, fighting out of Pennsylvania, 29 years old. Abus is 28-6-1 overall, fighting out of Germany, repping Germany, 35 years old. This is a fight that, no matter how it ends, I don't think it makes it all 15. This is probably Joe Pyfer's fight to lose early on, for sure. I think Joe hits like a fucking Mack truck. He's got very fast hands. I think he can get to Abus's chin pretty easily. Smoke him early. Pause. I picked Joe in his last fight against Gaslam. And, you know, even though we were right, that last round had me sweating a little bit because my man Joe, who did not get wrestled into, started slowing down midway into the second, slowing down even more into the third round. Gaslam was able to put it on him a little bit. I think Gaslam even won that third round. Abus, you know, when he first came into the UFC, did have, you know, some cardio issues, but I think he kind of like shored that up a little bit. I do trust his cardio more than I trust Joe's. If Joe can't get him out early, I don't hate a late Abus stoppage. Mid-second, third round is kind of the way I would play him. Am I going to pick Abus? That's tough. That's tough. I think in the grappling, they kind of negate each other because I would say Abus is probably the better wrestler, but Joe, especially early on, should be able to fend off a lot of like Abus's attempts. Give me Joe via knockout, but I'm not going to really say that with the utmost of confidence. Joe had me sweating last fight. He's definitely had me sweating this fight, but I'm going to pick him to win and won't be surprised if Abus just, you know, like an avalanche, lays on him later and just takes him out.
Yeah, I'm there too. And I'm with you. I think Joe's the obvious lean, right? But there's a fight where down the stretch of the fight, if Joe doesn't get him out of there early, man, you're going to be fucking clenching your bet slip. I'm going to be honest with you because Abus, even though he has cardio issues, he has better experience at this level. I think he's the better technical wrestler.
This is probably a good Abus live entry. If you like the Abus side, bet him after round one.
That's a very good point, my brother. That's exactly probably how I would play this fight. If not, you play Pyfer by knockout, maybe even sub. Sub's a nice number. Thing is, Joe hasn't shown me at this level that his submission grappling is all that either. I'm going to be honest with you. He's just a brute.
And I don't know if Abus is going to be the one that he chokes out either.
He can grapple. Abus can grapple.
Yeah.
So I'm with you here. I think it's Joe knockout, round one, round two, if you want to play it like that. But if you're going to play Abus, I think it's live entry or late.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you run with this. And I think that's how I'm going to approach this fight too. Joe just did not impress me his last fight, you know? So I'm going to bring in GSP just to validate my feelings.
But GSP, he always knows what he's saying.
Yeah,
GSP,
he does.
The GOAT. What does he got to say?
I'm not impressed by your performance.
Yeah, you know what? Don't disagree, GSP.
Yeah, I needed him to validate my feelings more appropriately, you know? So I picked him against Gaslam. He had me sweating. Probably a fight I'm going to stay off of. But give me Pyfer for the lean here, but not with the highest degree of confidence.
Next fight on the card, and is currently constituted the co-main event of the evening for the UFC Bantamweight Championship at Bantamweight. We have the champion, Merab the Machine Davishvili, going one-on-one with Corey, the Sandman Sandhagen. Merab is 20-4 overall. The champion is fighting out of Garden City Park, New York, but repping Georgia, 34 years old. Sandhagen, the challenger, is 18-5 overall. Fighting out of Aurora, Colorado, 33 years old.
Great fight.
Banger of a fight. A fight that, you know, listen, I get it. And, you know, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Merab is that fucking guy. He's good at one thing. He's very good at one thing, and it's fucking wrestling. That being said, I'm picking Sandhagen. Fuck it. This is the balls to the wall, nuts on the table pick of the evening. Sandhagen, like, he's the high IQ fighter. He's gonna be the bigger guy in there. You know, unlike Sean O'Malley, he's got grappling. He's very good off his back, very good on top, very proficient in the jiu-jitsu. Like I said, high IQ fighter. knows how to use his kicks, knows how to use punches, knows how to use his range. Merab, I love Merab. Not the best striker. A little one-dimensional, but I guess the one dimension that he's very good in, he is very good in. So,
and a little chinny, by the way.
Oh, yes. A very, 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 very chinny. Just no one's been able to test the chin yet. And you know what? For me, Sandhagen possesses the tools. And I think he's a worthy dog. And if Merab gets by him, I wouldn't be surprised. Would be a little disappointed because after Sandhagen, I don't know who beats Merab.
Maybe Omar.
Maybe Merab just beats himself.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Damn.
But you know what? Give me the upset. Give me Sandhagen here for the win. Do I think this fight goes the distance?
Yeah.
Probably. But the finishing upside is probably on the Sandhagen side. I wouldn't bat an eye at anything too crazy when it comes to the props and shit, but Sandhagen's going to be the pick for me. Give me the upset.
This is an obvious dog play, almost like a system play. He's sitting at plus 300. And I think that's, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what people or how Vegas is lining this, to be frank with you. I think this is a systematic dog play. And I feel that Corey, outside of Umar, is the toughest fight in the division for Merab. And what does Corey have? Championship experience. The only guy that's really banged on him, paused, hurt him, is Peter Yan. Aljo got his back. You know, he memed them low key, but I think just the moment got to him. This is a Corey Sandhagen who recently has been cutting the best promos in the sport.
He really has. He's been doing his online shit hard.
He understands the assignment.
Yeah.
I think he is very ready for this moment. I think he is mature enough for this moment. I think this is a guy who can manage Merab's wrestling, at least to an extent. He's going to be by far the better striker. He's going to be bigger. He's going to be longer, pause.
Hey.
He has good submission grappling. He is not going to allow, I feel, Merab to get to certain spots as much as he likes to. Yeah. Could Merab bury him later in the fight? Sure, man. But could Corey bang 3 rounds? I'm fucking confident he could.
I think that's a good point you bring up. The fact that, you know, we've seen Sandhagen in these spots before, and, you know, maybe the lights were a little too bright. You know, he got caught slipping. I think you're right. I think this is a different Sandhagen, a more mature Sandhagen. That's a very good point you brought up.
Yeah, 100%. And don't get me wrong, like, Peter Yan is a fucking computer. Like, yeah, there's no shame in losing to that guy.
Another machine.
He's a machine. And listen, even that fight, like, the Merab fought him, Peter Yan was rumored to have a very brutal injury heading into that fight. So even if they fought again, it would be interesting. I'd probably leave Merab there just because of the size and the dimensions. But this is, like I said, styles make fights in MMA in particular. Even in boxing they do, right? So I feel like this is a fight that Corey can dominate the space. Corey has said that he's probably going to go right after him. I just think him on the money line plus 300 when he has the finishing upside, and Merab, yeah, he finished O'Malley, but it was in the second fight in like the 3rd or 4th round. He's not a finisher historically. This is the decision guy. This guy does not finish his fights. Corey, historically durable, doesn't get finished, only been finished by Aljo. And, you know, and no shame in that. I just think this is dog or play, system play. Give me Corey Sandhagen as a live dog for this fight. All respect to Merab. We love Merab on this podcast, but styles make fights, and if it's not Umar or Corey, then who else are you going to bet against this guy? And I just think the line doesn't make sense, especially when they had Sean O'Malley at like a minus 250 against this guy. I mean, a plus 250 at this guy. And this is a guy in Corey who has more weapons than Sean. So I'm kind of confused with the lining, low key. I am. But for me, it's an insta play. So give me Corey Sandhagen as the dog here.
Next fight on the card, and is currently constituted the main event of the evening for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. At Light Heavyweight, we have the champion, Magomed Ankalaev, going one-on-one with Poatan, Alex Pereira. Ankalaev is 21-1-1 overall. The champion is fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 33 years old. Poatan is 12-3 overall. The challenger is fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 38 years old. One of 2 rematches we're going to be discussing here. You know, the other one's going to be on the co-leader, but we'll get to that one in a couple. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Ankalaev, Poatan. How does this one look? You're talking to me and my brother here. I'll keep it a buck. I'm a Poatan dick rider. I love the man. That guy's got aura for days. I'm a fan, you know, but I just don't see how he wins this one. I don't. It's unfortunate. I'm rooting for the man, but I don't think outside of a KO, I don't think he gets this one done. Ankalaev is just the better MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a buck. I mean, Ankalaev beat him without any wrestling last fight. Ankalaev was able to, outstrike him in certain instances in the last fight. Ankalaev fought smart, used IQ in that fight, frustrated Poatan. Poatan has got to make adjustments, but Poatan, in my opinion, is a little more limited in his skill set. He's not a grappler. He's not a wrestler. I'm sure he's been improving in both departments. I'm sure he's got a little jits. But, I mean, the guy's a striker. The guy's a kickboxer by trait. Ankalaev still got the wrestling. Still got the striking. I think Ankalaev wins, and I think he wins in probably more dominant fashion. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be picking Ankalaev here for the win. It sucks because I think he's the more boring fighter. He's the oralist fighter. I'm not rooting for this man. But you gotta call a spade, and I think Ankalaev is that fucking guy. He's gonna win. He's gonna beat Poatan, and hey, maybe Poatan moves up to heavyweight. I don't know. I don't know what he does here, because if you can't beat this guy outside of a KO, outside of just knocking this guy the fuck out, I don't know how he gets it done. So Ankalaev is gonna be my pick. What about you, my brother?
Yeah, I mean, the first fight was 3-2. I would say it was a closer fight than most people want to remember. But I'll be honest with you, I'm with my brother here. I think stylistically, this is a very tough fight for Poatan. This is a fight that the UFC has been trying to put off, particularly the first time. They didn't want it to happen until they had no choice but to make it happen, try to feed Ankalaev to the other wolves in the division. And then you had the donks like Rakic, who I had so much faith in, just give it away and fumble the bag.
Don't talk to me about that, man.
Jesus.
Just fucking wrestle, man.
Oh, my God.
Just do something. Damn it, Rakic.
I just think Poatan is going to have a hard time with the speed here. Not only is he the slower fighter here, he doesn't have the better footwork. This guy, Ankalaev, if you saw what he did in the last fight, he took away Poatan's left hand. All he did was circle away from the left hand and then beat Poatan on the outside foot to diminish his jab and his front leg kick. Poatan has got to show the adjustment for that. But the thing is, if he shows the adjustment for that, it might be the weak side that he's on with his wrestling takedown defense. Because typically, when you are fighting in a certain position, you don't want to switch because of a wrestler. It's because you are afraid that the wrestler is going to be able to have an advantage of you with the single legs and the double legs. I'm assuming that's what the situation is. There's been an extended amount of time between the first and second fight. Usually for these fights, I'm kind of like, okay, if it was close the first time, I'm going to lean the other side because of the adjustments. Poatan is older than this guy. Poatan has a ton more miles. Could he knock him out? If you're going to play Poatan, I think that's how you play this. I don't think he's winning the minutes here. Yeah. I think Ankalaev is much more live for a finish in this fight.
I mean, is there a scenario where I see Poatan, because this is the way I think he's got to approach this one, right? Leg kicks. Destroy him. Destroy him in the leg kick department.
Early.
Into, one of the off buttons that he got in his hands.
Right.
That's probably the only way. He's got to force Ankalaev to do something he doesn't want to do. But I think you're right. When it comes to Poatan kicking in particular, he's going to have to start switching stances. And if he's on a stance that he's not comfortable with, a stance that's considered his weak side, Ankalaev, again, high IQ fighter, will see it and probably just straight take him down.
Yeah, and I think that's the bigger issue here. It's a chess match with a guy who's a better chess player.
Yeah.
And, if you're taking away what this guy can do, great. It's just a tough fucking fight for you, man, because it's almost like Crawford and Canelo. Crawford was beating Canelo on the outside foot the whole fight. That's why whenever Canelo was able to even get off offense, Crawford had the defense because he cut off one side by fighting Philly shell, or if he didn't like what he saw, he was able to angle out because he had him beat on the outside foot. That's what Ankalaev did the whole last fight too. Ankalaev was able to piece him up and get the right hand down the middle and then angle out every time. And the thing is, if Poatan's fighting from the southpaw stance and Ankalaev is on this side, Poatan has to throw across his body. Poatan would have to beat him on the angle and catch him on the exit. But the thing is, you have to be a good counterpuncher, which he is.
And that requires good footwork.
It requires good footwork, which he's okay. He doesn't have better footwork than Ankalaev. And he's not quicker and he's not younger. This is Ankalaev's fight to lose. I think there's a high probability Ankalaev finds a finish in this fight. And I know what you're going to say. He's a decision fighter. But we said on this podcast too, when Marab was going against Sean, we both said, if I'm correct, there's a high probability for a stoppage.
Yeah.
Just because when you spend more time with a guy in the octagon and you have him covered, you're going to find some shit as more rounds accumulate.
You're just more comfortable in there, you know?
You know, he knows where he's safe in this fight. Unless Poatan shows him something different, Poatan's going to be in some real trouble. And what Glover's point was Glover was like, oh, well, you know, we were fighting more defensively as opposed to offensively. I think fighting more offensively opens up his wrestling. I really do. And it's like, yeah, he was able to cage hold and he got strong hips because of the Thai boxing background. I completely get that. I just think Ankalaev is a more complete fighter, and this is his time, unfortunately. Me as a Poatan fan as well. He's one of the few fighters. I got a Game Bread shirt from Jorge Masvidal and a Poatan shirt. I think those are the only two MMA fighters I've ever collected shirts from, and there's a fucking reason for that. Jorge Masvidal got me into the sport. Poatan's keeping me in the fucking sport. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, you know, I'm just being honest with what I'm watching. I don't know how he's going to be able to make up that much ground with the wrestling if he's not switching stances, and he would have to get comfortable on that opposite side, which I think is his vulnerable side to the wrestling. You know, so it's almost what Bilal was able to expose with Leon Edwards. The same thing. If you get the takedown on Leon's right side, he cannot defend the fucking takedown. I have a feeling that's the same issue with Poatan. Can't be, you know, I don't know. I have a feeling that's what it is. That's why he didn't want to switch stances the way he did in all his other contests, besides, you know, the wrestling threat. But give me Ankalaev here. I'm going to say by decision, man, but don't be surprised if I come and play a finish come fight night. I think he probably fights a finish in this fight. Give me Ankalaev for a decision. We'll see how we play close to the fight time.
And that does it for UFC 320. We're going to be moving right along to the PFL, where we're going to be breaking down the main card portion of the card. We're going to be kicking it off with fight number 1, where we have Jack Cartwright going one-on-one with Colin Lundgren. Cartwright is 12-2 overall, fighting out of England, repping England, 31 years old. Lundgren, the Don, is 10-2 overall, fighting out of Ireland, repping Ireland, 29 years old. Exciting way to kick off this main card, in my opinion. You know, Colin used to be a UFC fighter, went 2-2. I guess ended up, you know, leaving for the bag, because he did leave in a win. Either the UFC didn't pick up his contract, or he was like, yeah, nah, I think I could get paid a little more over here. I'm assuming the latter. So he's here making his PFL debut, going against short notice replacement Cartwright. Not his original opponent. Cartwright steps in here. Decent striking, but the bread and butter is the grappling. He is a very crafty, slick BJJ player, in my opinion. But I think Lundgren should have him covered. Lundgren, in my opinion, is the better striker. Lundgren, in my opinion, is the better grappler. Lundgren is going to be undersized. Colin is undersized in almost every fight that he's in. That's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. But I do think this fight goes to decision either way. And I think Colin is going to be the side. I'm going to be picking Colin by decision.
Yeah, I'm there too. I think Colin is built like an anvil, to be frank. He's fighting the guy from Sin City, that's Yellowface, that, you know, is a little bit of a creeper.
A little bit of a creep in that movie.
He looks just like that dude. But, you know, Nick Starr, I'll shout you out, bro, because you're the actor in that movie. Great job.
Yeah, his head is a very unique egg-shaped.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Lundgren, fighter experience, UFC experience. I think he's a better wrestler here. I think he's not going to get bullied by this guy. I think he's going to be the bully. He seems to bully bigger guys all the fucking time. I think this is his fight to lose. I got Lundgren by decision here. Book it.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have Magomed Ankalaev going one-on-one with the Phenom, Sergio Pettis. Magomedov is 21-4 overall, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 33 years old. Pettis is 24-7 overall, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 32 years old. No disrespect to Pettis. I think he's a very good fighter. I don't trust the man's finishing equity. His upside doesn't really fight for the finish. He's more of an opportunistic finisher, won't really push for it. Safe, smart, very technical, but I think Magomedov is just a different animal. He's a guy that unless you make him extremely uncomfortable, push the pace and overwhelm him, I don't think you can get the win on him. This is going to be Magomedov all day, I think. Twice on Sunday. He's going to be able to manage the range. He's probably going to be I won't say he's going to be the better striker, but I think he's going to be able to get off more offense more often. And I do give him the grappling edge here. Give me Magomedov for the win here. It sucks to see Pettis get smashed, but I don't think he will get smashed, but I think he will lose this particular matchup.
Yeah, Magomedov is one of the best kept secrets in MMA's 135 division. I think this guy is very good. He's not going to be uncomfortable anywhere. To my brother's point, the only way to make him uncomfortable is if you pressure him and put him in uncomfortable spots, meaning like a lot of volume, a lot of spam wrestling. Sergio Pettis is not going to do that. Sergio Pettis is going to be the one that's going to fight off his back foot. He's going to try to use the more opportunistic grappling. But the thing is, you can't do that with Magomedov. He's going to be the better wrestler. I think he's the more creative striker in a lot of ways.
I think he's got the physicality edge as well.
Correct. And I think this is going to be a tough fight for Sergio. I love Sergio, but give me Magomedov here. I'm going to say by decision because I trust Sergio's durability and toughness, but Magomedov should get this done via decision.
Next fight on the card at men's lightweight, we have the king, Archie Colgan, going one-on-one with J.J. Wilson. Colgan, perfect. 12-0, fighting out of Colorado, 30 years old. Wilson, 11-1 overall. Fighting out of New Zealand, repping New Zealand, 28 years old. Banger of a fight. Probably the most volatile of the main card fights, in my opinion here. Could go either way. I am going to be leaning Colgan, and it's only because, wrestling above all. When your base is wrestling and, you have an extensive background like Colgan does, Colgan, once he's able to get in on Wilson, should be able to control Wilson. It's going to be interesting because Wilson's jiu-jitsu is he's got a very active guard. He's a very active jiu-jitsu player. And I do think he probably even holds a bit of a striking edge here, only because he's going to be the bigger, longer guy here. And his striking is just more dynamic. But Colgan hits hard. Colgan knows how to kind of find, he's not used to, not that he's not used to. He is used to being the smaller guy in, a lot of his fights. I think he does find a way in on JJ. And once he gets him down, then, I think the tide of the fight will fall in his favor. Give me Colgan here for the win. I'm going to say by decision. Wouldn't be too surprised at a late round stoppage on either end, to be honest. Because, again, these guys are both fun fighters. But I think this is Colgan's fight to lose.
Definitely Colgan's fight to lose, but J.J. Wilson, if he is a wide enough dog, ladies and gentlemen, it's something I'm definitely going to be taking a nice look at. No lines are dropped yet because PFL decides to not show these things off, which really annoys me. Like to let you guess, but
hey, listen, I'm
not a big fan,
Not a fan either, but
not a fan.
I am a fan of your thinking, though.
Yeah, I think JJ has the striking edge. This is a guy in Archie who we tried to fade against Mansoor because we thought the line was absurd, and Mansoor pushed him to the fucking brink. Mansoor, if he had a better fight plan, better fight IQ for that fight, he probably wins that fight. So this is a guy in J.J. Wilson who's like a younger Mansoor. Not as dynamic with the grappling, but is more polished, I think, with the striking. It makes better decisions. Man, I think JJ, if the line is wide enough, give me him for a live dog shot here, man.
Hey, JJ by sub is probably not the worst look, low-key.
Yeah, Mansoor low-key put out Archie in the last fight with a submission.
Yeah.
The referee just didn't stop the fight. I'm just being just
was it Mike Beltran?
It might
have been. I don't remember who
it was. Either I think it was a sub, but yeah. Or he kicked him in that. I can't remember. But I know there was a moment in the fight where Archie was clearly compromised. You could have stopped the fight right there.
Yeah.
So for me, give me the young, hungry lion possibly as a dog play. But I'm with my brother here. I think Archie is a very good fighter. He is super high fight IQ. His wrestling is absurd. He is a fucking very strong dude and very technical with his wrestling. Very fast too. Very good overhand right too. Give me Archie for the lean man, but J.J. Wilson is a live dog, ladies and gentlemen, especially if that line is nice and fat. You know what I'm saying? Pause.
Hey, yo.
You give me that shit. Give me that fat shit.
Yo.
Pause. But no, it's true. If that line, if he's like a 3-1, bro, it's like,
no, for sure, yeah. I don't blame anybody looking that way.
Give me Archie Colgan as the lean, JJ Wilson as a possible dog play.
Next fight on the card, and is currently constituted the co-main event of the evening for the newly vacant PFL light heavyweight championship. We have Corey Anderson, overtime, going one-on-one with the Wolfhound. Doublet, Yagshim Muradov. Anderson is 19-6 overall, fighting out of Rockton, Illinois, 36 years old. Doublet is 25-7-1 overall, fighting out of Ukraine but repping Turkmenistan, 36 years old. This is going to be a low-key banger. And as my brother reminded me, because, I got a goldfish memory, this is actually a run back. In that fight, Dovlet was able to, put it on Corey early. Dovlet's a very good striker, underrated striker.
Filthy.
A fun fighter to watch. Definitely one of my low-key underrated favorites and the co-leader. But Corey's a dog. And, Corey in that first fight, remembered that he was a wrestler. And was able to take Dovlet down and even get a third round finish. Because, Corey on top, his ground and pound is vicious. How does this fight play out? Has Dovlet made improvements in his grappling game? He has. Is it enough to maybe overcome Corey Anderson? Maybe not. I'm going to be leaning Corey here. I think he should get this one done. But I am very tempted to make a dog play on Dovlet because that man is a dog. A fun fighter. And, Corey is prone to, maybe make, have a mental lapse, once in a while in fights. I don't think he will. I think he's a little motivated. He wants this belt. I'm sure Dovlet wants this belt. It's going to be a good co-main event. I don't think it goes the distance. I think there should be a finish either way. But I'll lean Anderson tentatively, but probably dog or pass for the most part, unless there's something crazy on the Corey side that, sticks out of my play that. But yeah, that's all I really got for this one.
Yeah, I'm with you here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what I will tell you of all the fights that are rematches. This is the one where I'm going to go the other side. I picked Corey the first time that they fought I don't know if the podcast is even in existence at this point. So
no, I don't think so.
But I know personally that I picked Corey to win that fight because I understood how good Corey's wrestling is. This is a fight where Dovlet has made improvements. He is the less shop-worn fighter. He has been on a bit of a resurgence. He has fought other guys like Rob Wilkinson who will push the wrestling and has been able to mitigate it. Don't get me wrong. I think Corey is a different level wrestler next to some of those guys, but Corey is prone to his mental lapses. Corey is chinny, and Corey just makes a lot of mistakes sometimes when he's in that octagon, man.
I don't hate it. I mean,
smart cage. Sorry, PFL.
Smart cage, yes.
So, it's just a situation where Dovlet, he's improved. His takedown defense is improved.
He is coming off a knockout off of Impa, by the way, as well.
Yep. And he's riding a high right now. And Corey's been a little inactive, especially since the Nemkov fight. So for me, this is Corey's fight to lose. But man, I think if that line is nice and juicy, I feel like Dovlet is a play. I really do. He beat Gostov, but Gostov is a one-round fighter. If he doesn't get you in the first round, he's going to get drowned, which Corey was able to do. But this is not Gostov. This is a guy that is going to be the superior striker and has a better get-up game than they did last time they fought. So I think it's dog or pass, unless, to my brother's point, something sticks out significantly on the Corey side. But give me Dovlet as a live dog here. Give me Corey Anderson as the official lean for the podcast just because of the wrestling upside.
Next fight on the card and is currently constituted the main event of the evening for the PFL vacant lightweight championship. We have Usman Nurmagomedov going one-on-one with big news, Paul Hughes. Bars. Nurmagomedov is perfect, 19-0. Fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 27 years old. Hughes, 14-2 overall. Fighting out of Ireland, repping Ireland, 28 years old. Probably the best fight of the weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hot take. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm standing on business. I'm looking forward to this one. Me and my brother, sat down right before we got onto the podcast here, right before we decided to chop it up with, you, the people. We had fun watching that fight over again. I thought Paul Hughes won the first time, and on the rewatch, I definitely thought he won the second time. And hey, listen, this is going to be a high-level chess match between two very technical, high-level guys. I am going to be picking Paul Hughes again to win. Hopefully he doesn't get fleeced. I don't know. I mean, listen, the man had a point deduction.
They're back in Dubai too, man.
It's going to be tough. Paul Hughes is just that fucking guy, in my opinion. And I think he's the one that can bring it to Usman. Both guys are going to have to make adjustments, in my opinion. Paul Hughes, I think, like you mentioned, needs to probably figure out how to check a leg kick or do something about Usman's leg kicks. Paul Hughes, on his end, might have to do a little more work in the clinch. Maybe, I love his body work, but he's probably got to go to the head a little more, because Usman does have a very good jab. And I think that's probably what got him a couple rounds, just the jab work, Paul Hughes was able to stop a lot of Usman's offensive takedowns. Not all of them, obviously, because, Nurmagomedov, that's what they do. Great fight. One to watch, one to maybe bet. Don't know. Probably not. I think the lines are probably going to be dog shit on both ends, especially with the props. Probably goes to decision, but the over is probably going to be fucking, not worth anything. But I'm going to be picking Paul Hughes, big news, for the win. And I won't be surprised if it gets fleeced once again.
Yeah, this is a fight where do you believe Usman about whether or not he kind of probably slept on this guy in the first fight? I'm going to say yeah, but I'm also going to take that as a diluted answer as well. Because I think Paul Hughes is very good. And what makes him very good? His first line takedown defense, his down blocking, fantastic. His counterboxing, his boxing in the pocket, exceptional. There are situations in that fight where I said, oh my goodness, if he just took a little bit of a step forward or an angle to the left, he clips Usman on the chin clean and probably drops him. Could Usman wrestle him? Sure. I just don't trust that Usman's going to be able to do it for 5 rounds. I just don't. I have a hard time believing that. He's going to have to sell out to get him down, and he's going to have to sell out to hold him down because Paul was very responsible in terms of getting his back to the cage and popping back up and hand fighting as he was getting up. Even on the mat return, popping back up, Usman had to literally sell out to win top position against Paul a lot of times, and Paul was able to get back up with relative ease. I don't think he was met with a lot of resistance because Usman was just tired of selling out for the takedown.
Yeah, I think there was only one instance in that fight where I think Usman was able to I forgot how he gets him down, but Paul Hughes is on his back in the middle of the octagon. And, I think it was like the 4th round, right?
Right.
And Paul, at that point, I think Paul thought he was up and didn't want to waste any kind of energy. It was only like 30 seconds left in the fight. And that's the only time I really seen Paul kind of just like dominate, like in any kind of like just being dominated in general by Usman in the wrestling department.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, ladies and gentlemen, when we bet Paul the first time he fought Usman, he was sitting like, I think at a plus 300, 400. This fight is essentially a pick'em. He's sitting at like a plus 120 right now. They took away tremendous amount of value. But it's because Vegas seen the first fight and they're like, okay, like Paul's legit. They're giving Usman the lean here because it's in Dubai and because he has the wrestling upside and was able to snatch away the first fight. I thought the judges got the fight all wrong. I cut my brother off a little earlier. He was actually going to mention the point that they took away a point from Usman and somehow they still gifted him this fucking decision.
Yeah.
Which I think is absurd. This is a fight that Usman did not want to take in Ireland.
I don't blame him.
This is a fight that Usman was not trying to take in general.
No.
And
Paul was, I don't want to say begging, but he was like very loud and vocal about getting this rematch.
Yeah, and Usman was very like, nah.
Yeah.
And, I think the PFL did a good job in pretty much putting him in a corner and saying, yeah, well, we're not going to give you anyone else kind of shit, type shit.
No, this is the shit we want.
Yeah, this is the fight. I think Paul has the finishing upside here. Nurmagomedov is going to catch him with a head kick. I could see Paul catching him with a left hook, dropping him, putting him away. If I had to say, this fight's probably going to go to decision more times than not. But if Paul finishes him here, I'm not going to be surprised. If he can mitigate that leg kick, which for whatever reason, it's the first MMA fight that I've ever seen where they counted leg kicks. Of course. And Dubai for their fucking guy, right?
Well, to be honest, though, too, I think what helped Usman is the jab. Mm-hmm. I think his jab was very stiff, very effective. And I think what Paul needs to do is counter the jab with the jab.
Yeah, and then also just not allow himself to get controlled and then need for 2 minutes and 40 seconds of a round. Because that's what happened, I think, in the 4th or 5th round. I think it was the 5th. He got controlled, and he was throwing knees on the side and just stalling for minutes. Paul had a little more urgency getting back up to his feet. We probably get a different result. So if Paul's just not going to settle in those positions and he's just going to make this guy work, it's going to be a tougher fight for Usman than it is Paul, simply because Usman's going to be on his back foot. The pressure fight is never the one who's going to be more tired than the guy who's railing off his feet. Give me Paul Hughes here, man. I think as a live dog, I think this is a fight that I probably won't bet just because I smell bullshit. To be frank with you, I think I smell a fleecing in the works, but I don't have enough balls to bet it either way simply because Paul can find a finish in this fight. But if you're asking me, I think this is dog or pass all day. I think the fight's going to be razor close. I would like to see what the split majority is going to look like. That's something I'll probably be looking at if they offer it. But outside of that, I think it's Paul Hughes. I think he's the more complete fighter. Give me Paul Hughes. I'll say by decision, but definitely on the money line. I'm going to give an official lean for the podcast just because he's dog money.
And that does it for episode 116. UFC 320 in the books. PFL Championship Series in the books. No sweet science, but my brother Ken, Ayo, provides some sweet release. Tell him what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody, hey, if you are enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. Love you guys. Holla at you guys. See you next week for episode 117. Take it easy. Love you guys. See the love. See all of it. Keep it coming. Take it easy. Enjoy. Holla. Later.